G'day, we're going to have a look at this Asus Zenbook S16. It's a 16-inch lightweight, ultra-thin laptop. Now, the Asus Zenbook S series, this is one of my top favorite series of all time. It really has a lot of pros in there, the very least amount of cons. I really love it, and I'll tell you the reason why is because it's lightweight. This one is being 16-inch, great, beautiful screen here, but also thin, and it still contain all its functional ports. Love it. So I don't actually carry adapters with me, and has great performance and a lot of functionality, and it just looks great. Love this Zenbook S16. That's pretty much sport. I really love these. Now, the previous laptop I was actually running for a couple of months was the Asus ProArt PX13. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link in the description below. Watch that review. This is what I've been carrying around also with me while I'm reviewing the PX13. Now, the PX13 had discrete graphics when it was a 13-inch. This one doesn't. It runs off the AMD integrated graphics, which is the Radar, and it did extremely not bad at all. Fine as for even video editing work. So, and I've been playing AAA games on it. It's just great to have around me, especially when I want the biggest screen. So this is 16. Now, they do make a 14-inch version, which is called the Zenbook S14. Now, I do have that with me right now. So that is going to be up in review later on. I'll put a link in the description below when you see that. So we might do a little bit of comparison in this review for this S16, but you can see the different colors. Now, this one is a white one, or you can see this. This actually uses this Ceraluminum sort of type of cover. It's really nice. It's got durability, great strength, and also lightweight. And they say it's quite unique. It's a really cool technology. It looks really beautiful. I've actually had people stop by and had a look at what kind of computer is that? That's why I see these ones here. It's really nice here for it. So this is the S14, and I might as well just show you how much difference in size-wise for this. I'll just kind of put it up there so you can see how much difference in size for the S14 and S16. But both of them have this gorgeous OLED display, which I really love. So these are great. Now we're gonna have a look at the temperatures and fan noise, as well as some of the features, and we'll do a bit of comparison between the S14 and S16. And of course, I will be putting timestamps along this video so you can skip to a different section that you may be interested to save you time. Measuring the color gamma coverage of the 3K OLED display, which has a maximum brightness or luminance rating of 400 nits and it has a fast refresh rate of 120 Hz, it resulted with 100% sRGB coverage, 92% Adobe RGB coverage, and 99.5% DCI-P3 coverage. Now, this is extremely high, and this display is suited for photo and video editing tasks. The Zenbook S16 comes with a 78 watt-hour battery, and when I tested out the battery life, I managed to get 11 hours and 41 minutes in the Modern Office battery life test in PC Mark 10, 2 hours and 11 minutes for gaming, and 11 hours and 58 minutes for video playback on the Procom battery life test. I consider this all-day battery life. This is doing very well considering how light this laptop is. Looking at temperatures and fan noise, when I took my measurement, the ambient temperature room was 25 degrees Celsius. And just to give you an idea of how hot, how cool this laptop could be, my hand was on average around about 37 degrees Celsius at this room temperature. So I took my base measurement, the computer was idle, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 31 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it stayed silent at 35 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 39 degrees Celsius. Then I put 20% load on the computer. It's pretty much average use. So that's tasks like office productivity work, surfing the web, streaming video, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, still stayed at silent at 35 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 45 degrees Celsius. Then I put 50% load on the computer, and the hottest area on the keyboard measured a maximum of 45 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it did spin up a little bit, and it measured at a maximum of 37 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 68 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer on 100% load on the computer, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 48 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan, it spun up a little bit more and hit a maximum of 38 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 69 degrees Celsius. While I had 100% load on the computer, I put the fan profile to full speed to allow the computer to run at its very best. And the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 52 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it spun all the way up to a maximum of 46 decibels. And the average internal core temperature was 82 degrees Celsius. I also measured the bottom back cover while I had 100% load, and the hottest air around the back cover measured a maximum of 50 degrees Celsius. These are respectable temperatures and fan noise considering the computer is a light and thin laptop. And just to note that most of the heat is around about the center of the keyboard where the Y key is. Asus have gone all out and given this a vapor chamber, and it definitely shows in the measurements, as we do have very high number in performance and we've got nice temperatures with very respectable fan noise. Let's examine the processor's performance for long duration tasks. Now this Zenbook S16 has our AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370 processor configured in it. AMD reports that this processor has a base clock speed of 2 GHz. And I pretty much have a task that's running on pretty much on all the system resources. So that's processor, memory, and storage at pretty much 100% load, as you can see here. And I can see that the speed of the processor is averaging anywhere between 2.5 to about 3.2 gigahertz. So I'm just going to average that out around about 2.9 gigahertz is what it's at. Now we do have 12 cores. We're going to dwell this in a little bit more here, so we can see that all the 12 cores here, and they are averaging anywhere between 2.4 gigahertz to about 3.3 gigahertz. You'll see that fluctuate, and they just change as over time. Now looking at the temperatures of the cores here, we can see that they're running at anywhere between 78 degrees Celsius to about 88 degrees Celsius is what you're looking at. So there's still plenty of room to go up to 100 degrees Celsius. Still, we want to try and keep it under 90 is probably best for that. So they are running at its maximum at the moment, and that's quite high. So we definitely are above 2 gigahertz, so we don't have thermal throttling, and they are running quite high speed at the moment. Fantastic job by Asus and AMD, as we do have 12 performance cores running. This is in best performance for Windows settings for best performance, and also for the fan profile we are at full speed mode. There are 6 speakers in the Zenbook S16, and when I tested at the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure a peak of 85.8 decibels. Now I consider this actually in the middle range compared to other laptops, but this is all about sound quality. These have very clean bass and low end. It's got very strong mids and highs. You definitely hear the separations of the layers of all the sound and music. It's got great amount of reverb and acoustics. It's just got clean audio. These are great sounding speakers. And now just doing the audio or speaker comparison between the S16 and the S14. Now the S16 has 6 speakers and the S14 has 4 speakers. Now I'm just going to start playing some music. So we'll start off with the S14 first. Now these are set to at 70% on the range here. And we'll just show you down this side here, 70%. And I'll start it off. Now the S16. Now, just to give you an idea what I hear the difference after I've been playing it for a little bit, that's just a sample here. Now, what I found is that the S14 has a bit more reverb, but with the S16, because it has 6 speakers, so 2 extra speakers, we got more layers. We also have more clarity out of it. The actual bass on the S14 is just more deeper, but because it has extra speakers, you find the actual bass is much more cleaner on the S16, and it is just got that much more, a little bit oomph compared to the S14. The S14, it still has a lot of oomph there, as when you get down really low, like especially the kick drum part, you do hear more oomph there, but it is much more clearer, has better clarity on, like especially the kick drum area where the low, very low end side, that S16 is. So loudness wise, they're very similar, but really it's about the clarity. This one has, S14 has more reverb, but overall they're very great sounding speakers on both of these. Quick look at the build construction of this Asus Zenbook S16. Now, it is a really gorgeous design. We got this really cool high-tech Ceraluminum. Now, I'll put a link in the description below so you can see what this is about, but basically it gives you nice, good durability, strength, and also that what we call uniqueness to it, because they are uniquely built. Everyone is very unique, so it's really cool there. So I really love that here. A little bit scratch proof as well and smudge proof, so I absolutely love that there. The rest of it is aluminium all the way through, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we'll just quickly do the bend test. Now that's really hard. This Ceraluminum is really giving that good strength here now. And we'll just go and do the flex test for the keyboard. That much flex on this, and I'm pushing quite hard. I don't hear any fans going zzz like that, so that's doing really well here. So I really love it. And we'll quickly do the hinge test here. So one finger with the hinge here, and we'll just do it with one finger. Oh, that's really nice and smooth all the way through, and it goes up to a maximum. I would say that, what do you call, 130 or 120 degrees. That's its maximum. Yeah, that's probably one thing I wouldn't mind, is I had a little bit more room all the way through, like some of the to 180. That's one improvement I would like to see, but else it does absolutely fine there. So, and we'll just do the quick wiggle test to see how the hinge holds up, and that is clamping very well. That's not letting go at all. So well made hinge here, and that is absolutely fantastic. Love the build construction on this Asus Zenbook S16. Now hopefully you get to see the different color schemes that you could purchase the S16 or even the S14. So you got this nice silver white combo, and then you got this nice black or grey combo here. Both look absolutely gorgeous with this Ceraluminum top. I'll just put them back to the side, both sides, so you can actually see how much larger the 14 and the 16 is, the difference between the two. And also just across the actual, even the side of it, I'm just going to put it back to back so that's easier to sell, but pretty much the same all the way through. There's no difference there. And along with the side here, yep, that's all the same. That is just flat as. So really the massive difference is just the screen size, really. As for the touchpad, it is a very large size trackpad. As you can see, it's pretty much a half the palm rest. If you combine the two sides together, the actual touchpad is pretty much half of this whole length here. And also it is a mechanical touchpad, so you can depress as you move way down, and it is extremely silky smooth. And it does have very nice touches and very reactive, you can see from here. And also there is a nice smart gestures. So on the left side, you can just move your way up and down. You can see I am actually going up and down with the volume. So I'm just going to play the music. Whoop. See, that's really nice to do that. And then you can actually scrub using the top part. If you just scrub the top, I really love these smart gestures. And then on the right hand side is the brightness of the display. So up and down for this brightness. So that's really nice. So volume, and this side is scrubbing for playback. And also on the right side, that's for the brightness setting. So really love these smart gestures on this. Now, the only thing I have to say, just to give you a little bit of word warning, just because of how large the size of this trackpad is, when you actually put on your home keys, you are going to put your palm, about half your palm, on the actual inside of each side of the touchpad. And being a mechanical trackpad, you've just got to probably not press it down so much for it. So sometimes you do press it, but that's not too bad for the actual, if you're just touching, the palm rejection does pretty well on that again. But it's more about if you're really hitting it. But at the moment I am on not really sitting correctly, so I actually didn't really, while I was using it and typing away, you can see I'm just rejecting the palm quite nicely. It's only if I press down with my palm is when you actually activate the And that's just because of it is a mechanical trackpad there. So, but normally you can see I'm moving along and I'm actually touching it and I'm not moving the cursor itself. So the palm injection does a fantastic job here, Asus. The S16 does have digital stylus support. Now this is the Asus Pen 2.0 and it may be actually included in some countries with the S16. Now this was included in this particular unit that I was testing out, and as you can see, it's just a very similar space, which is actually very nice to hold. And we've got two buttons on the side. And then if you just pull the back end, you've got a USB-C, which you can actually charge this Asus pen. And you also got another button up here, which is more for pairing than anything else. But overall, a nice thing. Now, I'm going to quickly do the line jitter test. Now, this is probably something that you probably won't be doing along the table, as this is it. I'm just going to do this right as it is without touching the display. Now I'm going to touch the display as I'm going to do this, so you can kind of see. Now I'm just doing this. I'm not doing it very well, but at least you got an idea of the jitter itself. Now I'm going to put a second touch here to see how it rejects that. That's just me pulling along the display. Now I'm not on the thing as I'm trying to do this, and I'll just do some quick lines so you can see how that goes. And now I'm just going to do some swirls, and we're just going to do this in the air. This is actually probably the first time I'm actually doing this in the air while there's no support on the back end of it, but it is actually keeping quite well because I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on there, so that's pretty well there. And of course, let's have a look at the parallax. Now it does have quite a bit of lag behind, as I'm going to do this quite quick, but yeah, there is a bit of lag there behind. There is pressure support, so the Asus Pen 2 has 4096, which is the typical one you see these days, and I'm just going to demonstrate that. Now I'm just going to do it very lightly. Now push it into the display, lightly onto the display. Now I'm just going to really push it into the display again, lightly, and push it into the display, so you can see there. And I'm just going to do some writing. Now this is going to be interesting how I do this without extra support. So let's see how well I do this. And actually, it's not too bad at here, so it is doing quite well, and I'm really off center, but well. And now I'm just going to show you how much it can actually take, how much pressure it can take. So I'm going to do this very slowly. Now this is like lightly, how much push I'm going to push in. So that's me lightly, just very lightly pushing. See how much it does. So that's all right, not too bad. Now I'm going to push a little bit more, and it is tipping, but it's actually holding quite well. So that's me really pushing it quite a bit. And I'm just going to show you, as I'm writing on here, I am going to push it. It actually rocks a little bit. Once it rocks a little bit here, it actually stays there takes quite a bit of pressure to put it. So that's not too bad, just to give you an idea of how much pressure you can actually put for the tilt. But it's probably something you probably want something to hold on to that just down here with one hand, and then you can just give it a nice bit of writing with just holding it, giving it extra support. Here's the results of benchmarks performed on the Zenbook S16. Here's the results for Passmark, Citybench 2024, PCMark, 3DMark, Crossmark, CrystalDisk Mark, Geekbench 6, Procon Office, Procon Machine Learning, Procon AI, Procon Photo Edit, Procon Video Edit, you get Photoshop, you get Lightroom, you get Premiere Pro, you get DaVinci Resolve, Burmark, Luxmark, Eugene Engine, SpecView Prep 2020. And some gaming benchmarks like Far Cry 6, Cyberpunk 2077, Forza 5, F1 2024, and Wukong Black Myth. What more can I say about the Asus Zenbook S16? I absolutely love it. It's light and thin. We've got a nice, gorgeous, large display that is actually very color accurate, so I can actually work on photos and videos. And we have great performance from this AMD Ryzen AI processor. I absolutely love it. Temperatures are kept quite nicely, and also the fan noise quite down as well, so absolutely fantastic. We've got all the ports there, so I don't have to carry dongles with me. I absolutely love that feature there. And the trackpad, well, that is really nice, nice, slick and smooth, and those smart gestures I do really like. So great work there, Asus there. And overall, just a really gorgeous looking package here and design. And I really love this Ceraluminum. It's hard to say, but you'll get there. But so overall, easy to recommend the Asus Zenbook S16. Now I hope you found this video informative and enjoyed it. If you did, if you support my channel, smash that like button for me. Share this video, it does help me out. And as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.